Surviving time in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, commonly known as TDCJ, is not just about serving a sentence. It's about learning how to endure a system that tests your mental strength, emotional control, and personal discipline every single day. TDCJ is structured, rigid, and unforgiving. The rules are clear, and the consequences for breaking them are immediate. In this environment, survival begins with understanding that patience is not optional. It is necessary. Time moves slowly, and frustration can become your greatest enemy if you allow it to control your reactions. One of the most important tools for survival is respect. Respect for the rules, respect for staff, and respect for other incarcerated individuals can often be the difference between peace and constant conflict. In TDCJ, how you carry yourself matters. Your reputation is built daily through your words, actions, and decisions. Mental strength is another cornerstone of survival. Long periods of confinement, separation from loved ones, and limited freedoms can wear down even the strongest individuals. Those who survive learn to build routines, set personal goals, and focus on self-improvement, whether through education, work assignments, faith, or personal reflection. Emotional control is just as critical. Anger, fear, and pride can quickly escalate situations that never needed to happen. Learning when to speak, when to stay silent, and when to walk away is not weakness, it is wisdom. In TDCJ, self-control is a form of self-protection. Survival also means accepting reality. Denial only increases suffering. Those who endure learn to accept where they are, take responsibility for their actions, and focus on what they can control rather than what they cannot. Finally, surviving TDCJ requires hope. Hope that time served can become time used. Use to grow, to change, and to prepare for a better future. Survival is not just about getting through the day. It's about leaving the system stronger than when you entered it. In the end, surviving time in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice takes discipline, respect, mental resilience, and the determination to keep moving forward, one day at a time. Surviving time in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice is not measured simply by how many days, months, or years a person completes on paper. True survival is about enduring the daily pressure of confinement, strict routines, limited freedom, and constant observation. Every day presents mental and emotional challenges that test patience, self-control, and resilience. The environment does not allow many mistakes, and even small decisions can have long-term consequences. Endurance means learning how to manage boredom, stress, frustration, and loneliness without letting them turn into anger or reckless behavior. It requires adapting to a system where time moves slowly and control over one's life is limited. Those who endure learn how to protect their peace, conserve their energy, and stay focused on getting through each day without unnecessary trouble. Endurance also means staying mentally strong through setbacks such as disciplinary cases, denied parole, separation from family, or changes in housing or work assignments. Instead of counting only the days left, survival becomes about how well a person handles the days they are in, maintaining stability, discipline, and awareness in an environment that constantly applies pressure. Patience is one of the most critical qualities for surviving time in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice because the system operates at its own pace, not the individual's. Everything moves slowly. Requests, grievances, medical attention, classification reviews, parole decisions, and even daily routines. Frustration builds easily when there is little control over outcomes and long waits for answers that may never come. Without patience, minor inconveniences can turn into major problems, leading to disciplinary cases or conflicts that extend time or make conditions worse. The rigid structure of TDCJ leaves little room for flexibility, and pushing against it often results in negative consequences rather than change. Patience means learning to wait without reacting emotionally, understanding that anger will not speed the process and may only complicate it. It also involves accepting delays, repeated denials, and setbacks while maintaining composure and focus. Those who develop patience learn how to manage expectations, stay calm under pressure, and avoid impulsive decisions. In an environment where time feels stretched and progress is slow, patience becomes a form of strength that protects mental health and helps a person navigate the system without creating additional obstacles in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Respect is not just a social expectation, but a survival tool. The system is built on rules, policies, and hierarchy, and ignoring or challenging them unnecessarily often leads to disciplinary action. Respecting the rules means understanding them, following them consistently, and recognizing that even small violations can escalate into serious consequences. Many problems inside TDCJ begin when individuals underestimate how closely behavior is observed or assume certain rules can be bent without repercussions. Respect towards staff is equally important. Officers and employees have significant authority over housing, work assignments, movement, and disciplinary decisions. While disagreements and frustrations are common, responding with hostility, sarcasm, or defiance usually makes situations worse. Maintaining a calm, respectful tone, even when treated unfairly, can prevent minor issues from turning into major write-ups or transfers. Respect does not mean submission. It means choosing responses that protect one's own interests. Respect for other incarcerated individuals is another key factor in avoiding conflict. Living in close quarters with people from different backgrounds, beliefs, and temperaments requires awareness and restraint. Disrespectful language, invading personal space, gossip, or unnecessary involvement in others' business can quickly create tension. Those who survive learn how to mind their own affairs, communicate carefully, and avoid situations that invite trouble. In an environment where conflicts can escalate rapidly, respect becomes a daily practice that helps maintain peace and reduces the risk of unnecessary confrontations. In the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, a person's reputation is formed not by what they say about themselves, but by what they consistently do. Every interaction, reaction, and decision contributes to how others perceive and respond to an individual. Reputation is built slowly through daily behavior. How someone follows rules, treats others, handles pressure, and responds to conflict. Once established, that reputation can either protect a person or create ongoing difficulties. Small actions matter more than dramatic gestures. Showing reliability in work assignments, keeping one's word, and maintaining a calm demeanor during stressful situations sends a clear message about character. On the other hand, repeated arguments, impulsive behavior, or involvement in unnecessary drama quickly label a person as a problem, which can lead to closer scrutiny from staff and mistrust from others. In TDCJ, being seen as unpredictable or disrespectful often results in fewer opportunities and more restrictions. Choices made in moments of stress are especially influential. How someone reacts when they are denied something, spoken to harshly, or challenged by others is closely watched. Those who consistently choose restraint and accountability earn a reputation for maturity and self-control. Over time, this can lead to fewer conflicts, smoother interactions, and a more stable environment. Reputation is not something established in a single day. It is reinforced through repeated choices that signal whether a person can be trusted to manage themselves responsibly under pressure. Mental strength is one of the most important qualities for surviving time in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice because the environment places constant pressure on the mind. Long periods of isolation, separation from family and loved ones, and limited contact with the outside world can slowly wear down a person's emotional stability. The lack of privacy, repetitive routines, and constant noise or confinement creates stress that builds over time rather than disappearing. Without mental strength, these conditions can lead to hopelessness, anxiety, or impulsive behavior. Developing mental strength means learning how to manage thoughts as much as actions. Individuals who endure learn how to avoid dwelling on negative situations they cannot change, and instead focus on maintaining clarity and balance. This often includes finding healthy ways to cope, such as reading, exercising, studying, writing, or practicing faith. These activities help structure the mind and provide a sense of progress in an environment where progress can feel limited. Stress inside TDCJ can come from many directions, conflicts, disciplinary issues, uncertainty about parole, or concern for family on the outside. Mentally strong individuals learn how to process stress without letting it control their behavior. They recognize warning signs of emotional overload and take steps to calm themselves before situations escalate. Over time, mental strength becomes the ability to remain focused, stable, and aware, even when circumstances are difficult and pressure is constant. In the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, days can easily blur together, creating a sense of stagnation that wears on motivation and mental health. Establishing daily routines becomes a way to regain a sense of control in an environment where most decisions are made for you. Simple, consistent habits, such as waking up at the same time, exercising, reading, studying, or focusing on assigned work, create structure and predictability. This structure helps reduce anxiety and gives the mind something steady to rely on amid constant restrictions and uncertainty. Goals play an equally important role in survival. Without goals, time can feel wasted and meaningless, making each day harder to endure. Setting personal goals, whether educational, physical, spiritual, or personal, gives purpose to the time being served. These goals do not need to be large or distant. Short-term goals, such as completing a book, improving physical fitness, learning a skill, or maintaining discipline over emotions, provide motivation and a sense of progress. Long-term goals, such as preparing for reentry, earning certificates, or strengthening personal values, help keep focus beyond the walls of confinement. Routines and goals work together to keep the mind engaged and forward-looking. They prevent idleness, which often leads to negative thinking or trouble. By focusing on daily tasks and personal improvement, individuals can shift attention away from frustration and towards self-development. This sense of purpose helps maintain dignity and self-respect, reinforcing the idea that time inside does not have to be empty or destructive, but can be used intentionally to build stability and direction. Despite the limitations of the environment, emotional control is a critical survival skill in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice because emotions often determine outcomes more than facts. Anger, frustration, fear, and pride are constantly triggered by close living conditions, strict rules, disrespect, and unresolved stress. Without emotional control, reactions can become impulsive, turning minor issues into serious disciplinary problems. A single emotional outburst can lead to cases, loss of privileges, changes in housing, or extended time under harsher conditions. Learning emotional control means recognizing feelings without allowing them to dictate behavior. It involves pausing before reacting, thinking through consequences, and choosing responses that protect long-term interests rather than satisfy short-term emotions. Many conflicts inside TDCJ do not start because of serious issues, but because someone reacts emotionally to a comment, a look, or a misunderstanding. Those who develop emotional control learn how to let things pass, walk away, or remain silent rather than escalate situations that could have been avoided. Emotional control also includes managing pride and ego. In a confined environment, the urge to prove oneself or respond to perceived disrespect can be strong. However, giving in to that urge often brings negative attention and trouble. Individuals who survive learn that self-control is not weakness but discipline. By maintaining emotional balance, they reduce stress, avoid conflict, and protect their ability to move through the system with fewer obstacles and consequences. In the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, words carry weight, and using them carelessly can create problems that did not need to exist. Knowing when to speak and when to remain silent is a skill developed through experience and awareness. Speaking at the wrong time, to the wrong person, or about the wrong subject can quickly lead to misunderstandings, conflict, or disciplinary action. Gossip, complaints spoken in frustration, or sharing personal opinions too freely often spread beyond their original audience and return with consequences. Staying silent does not mean being passive or afraid. It means being strategic. Many situations inside TDCJ do not require a response, even when emotions push for one. Arguments, insults, or provocation often lose power when they are not acknowledged. Those who survive learn how to observe, listen, and assess situations before deciding whether speaking will improve or worsen the outcome. Silence can prevent involvement in conflicts that have nothing to do with personal well-being. Knowing when to speak is just as important as knowing when not to. When communication is necessary, such as addressing official matters, clarifying misunderstandings with staff, or advocating respectfully for oneself, clear, calm, and limited speech is most effective. Choosing words carefully, keeping emotions out of conversations, and focusing on facts rather than feelings helps protect against misinterpretation. Over time, this balance between speaking and silence becomes a protective tool that reduces attention, avoids unnecessary problems, and supports a more stable experience within the system. One of the most important aspects of surviving time in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice is learning to accept reality as it is, rather than wishing it were different. The environment is rigid, structured, and often unpredictable, and much of what happens is beyond an individual's control. Fighting the system, resenting every rule, or constantly wishing for conditions to be easier only increases stress and frustration. Those who survive understand that acceptance does not mean giving up. It means acknowledging the circumstances honestly and choosing how to respond in a way that preserves well-being. Acceptance allows a person to focus energy on what can actually be controlled, their thoughts, actions, and choices, rather than expending mental effort on anger, bitterness, or regret. It involves recognizing personal responsibility for past actions while understanding that punishment and consequences are part of the reality they must navigate. By accepting limitations, such as restricted freedom, strict schedules, or lack of privacy, individuals reduce the mental and emotional resistance that can make daily life feel unbearable. This mindset also helps in handling setbacks and disappointments. Whether it's being denied parole, reassigned to a less desirable unit, or experiencing conflict with others, those who practice acceptance can recover more quickly because they see the situation clearly rather than through the lens of frustration or unfairness. Acceptance also encourages adaptability, teaching individuals to adjust their expectations, develop coping strategies, and maintain peace of mind even when circumstances are harsh or unfair. In this way, acceptance of reality becomes a cornerstone of survival, providing a mental shield against unnecessary suffering and helping a person maintain focus, discipline, and resilience. Hope is one of the most powerful tools for surviving the Texas Department of Criminal Justice because it provides a sense of purpose beyond the immediate hardships of confinement. Without hope, days can feel meaningless, and the challenges of incarceration, long periods of isolation, strict routines, limited personal freedom, and constant observation can weigh heavily on mental and emotional health. Hope is not just about dreaming of freedom. It is about believing that the time spent inside can be transformed into growth, learning, and preparation for a better future. Self-improvement works hand in hand with hope. Those who survive and thrive focus on what they can control, their personal development. This can include pursuing educational opportunities, vocational training, reading, writing, spiritual growth, physical fitness, or learning skills that can be useful upon release. By setting achievable goals and working toward them consistently, individuals turn idle time into constructive progress. This creates a sense of accomplishment and reinforces self-esteem, which is critical in an environment that often challenges a person's sense of identity and worth. Hope also strengthens resilience. When setbacks occur, whether it's a denied request, a disciplinary action, or delays in parole, hope allows a person to maintain perspective and continue forward without giving in to despair. It encourages planning for the future while still managing the realities of the present, helping individuals make decisions that support long-term outcomes rather than temporary satisfaction or reactionary behavior. In this way, hope and self-improvement are not just survival strategies. They're transformative tools that allow a person to endure confinement with dignity, grow through adversity, and emerge stronger and more prepared to rebuild life beyond the walls. In conclusion, surviving time in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice is not simply a matter of serving a sentence. It is a test of character, resilience, and self-discipline. By cultivating patience, respect, mental strength, emotional control, and hope, individuals can navigate the challenges of confinement while maintaining their dignity and preparing for a better future. Each day becomes an opportunity to build stability, grow personally, and make choices that lead not just to survival, but to transformation. Though the system may be harsh, those who approach it with awareness, discipline, and determination can endure, learn, and ultimately emerge stronger than when they entered.